One of the more interestingly embarrassing and disastrous launches of 2024 has definitely been Skull and Bones, the pirate game that everybody wanted to be some sort of Black Flag remake and ended up being a live service game that dropped its player base on the first day. Now, I mean, did you even remember this title existed? I mean, Ubisoft have had a slew of unplayable and unwanted titles in the past, almost known for having fantastic ideas and really unique approaches, but the execution being similar to, well, I guess every other game company these days. After Skull and Bones' disaster launch, its player base has seemed to somewhat drop off the globe. But of course, Ubisoft have found a way to spin this in their favor. For Ubisoft hasn't even reached 1 million players with this, and for a company of that size and a game that was hyped that much, made off the back of the most successful game in the Assassin's Creed franchise, is not great. And I'm sure Ubisoft will definitely not be learning from this. 850,000 players is the current number, but of course we don't have Steam, so we can't exactly see how many people are playing this title, which works in their favor. But 850,000 people, that number does also include the free trial players, so I'm not sure it's going to be anywhere near close to that these days. But Ubisoft have managed to sway that in their favor, with most players playing around 3 to 4 hours of the game before logging off, which is granted quite impressive, unless you actually look into what the game involves itself with. 3 to 4 hours of this game barely gets you to the first fight or boss fight within Skull and Bones. A lot of sailing around, collecting resources, and you get one ship. One ship, by the way, that will last you for the majority of the game, because upgrading these sorts of things takes hours. They wanted to go for a live service game, and they did manage to accomplish it, finding every single mechanic within their title and turning the grind up to 11. But Ubisoft have seen this number, and instead of focusing on the lower player count, have said that it has reached maximum engagement, that this is a record-breaking game because of the amount of people engaged within Ubisoft. That is like punching your head teacher in the face and saying it's a good thing because a lot of people saw it happen. Ubisoft stating it's the second highest daily playtime average for a Ubisoft game since the company was founded. We can also see the fact that this was not necessarily a positive for Ubisoft because of the way that the financials have been going. They slashed the price from $70 down to $25 within 3 weeks, something that would never happen if this title was actually going the direction they wanted to. Of course, the infamous calling it a quadruple A game, saying that it has the content for people, but people just don't realize it yet, is not an excuse for why it's been slated online. On Xbox right now, Skull and Bones is the 47th most played game. This is on just one console, by the way. For a title as big as this one, granted it did release in the midst of things like Helldivers and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, another disaster, it doesn't look good for the pirate swashbuckling adventure that it didn't turn out to be. But Ubisoft aren't done yet. They do want to actually keep this game going, and granted, I think they're going to be committed. You see, after almost a decade of development, and a game that Ubisoft themselves admitted probably would have been cancelled by any other developer, they're not letting go yet. This is the sunk cost fallacy of a studio that have put over $120 million into it, probably way higher, and don't want to let it go. This has to succeed. They have to gain their money back some way. With the alleged investment of the Singaporean government, that's why this game had to keep going and keep coming. Ubisoft's employees even called it too big to fail. Well, it has failed, but they're not giving up on it, releasing more cosmetics and more items that you can purchase in the store. And of course, this brings us on to the Season 1 trailer.
As a pirate, your reputation is everything. Climb the ranks of the Kingpin leaderboards to secure your place at the top and unlock exclusive higher-tier weapons and equipment for an edge against your enemies. And for those who dress to kill, you'll also earn gold on the Premium Pass to purchase more opulent cosmetics from famed foreign bazaars.
It does seem like a little bit dystopian with the trailer promoting Season 1 itself, saying that they can purchase and add in new cosmetics, that being the main focus. Okay, yeah, there are more ships and boss battles that you can do, but having a main focus of cosmetics really kind of makes me feel a little bit sick. And this is the reason that this game didn't do well, because the focus was financial rather than actually making a creative world. You see, Skull and Bones actually did start off as a Black Flag sequel, or at least spin-off. It then was taken in the direction of being a 5v5 arena ship game, probably because, well, Ubisoft Singapore had never made an original title. They were more just helping other studios at the time. But Ubisoft saw the hype from E3 2017 and thought, okay, Singapore, You guys can do this on your own. Let's take away that 5v5 arena and let's make it into a fully fledged open world. After 3 or 4 creative heads at the helm, all with their own ideas and different ways of approach, then having over 6 release date delays, they finally brought it out to the crowd going absolutely mild. Being as wide as an ocean yet as deep as a puddle, having completely repetitive campaign missions, this in-depth story that was supposed to come was completely spread to the side. There was supposed to be a whole single-player campaign for Skull and Bones that they decided they didn't want anymore. Instead replaced by this guy that you go to over and over again who tells you, oh, those guys are being bad. Can you go and take their stuff from them, sink a few ships and come back? Oh, can you go and find this treasure and then come back? Oh, can you go and set up these trading routes and then come back? Doing fetch quests for the entirety of a game that probably has about 20 hours of gameplay in it. A game that costs $70 at some points, and of course it's supposed to be live service, which is a terrible label to have on anything, but at least it's supposed to mean that it's ongoing content. Okay, Season 1 is saying that, but if it's just going to be more fetch quests, more going back to this goddamn guy, why would people still want to play this title? The ships themselves are horrible to control, feeling like you can drift around corners, upgrading very little in terms of actual mechanics, mostly being based on cosmetics, and then when you actually do get to upgrade to your next ship, it's pretty much the same as the previous one. Being able to only explore within your very small circle of area, adventuring out even slightly causes you to get absolutely ambushed and destroyed by any ships, even just one level higher than you. The whole multiplayer aspect, pretty much useless. Playing with your friends doesn't mean anything. It just means the enemy's a little bit harder and you can see other people. That's about it. PvP combat, pretty much non-existent. It's a completely NPC-focused title, going from one place to another. You spend most of the game within cutscenes or menus, not being able to transition between ship and foot. This whole idea of being able to play as a pirate is ridiculous, because it doesn't exist. You're actually playing as a pirate ship, and that's all you can expect. Well, I'm wrong. A pirate ship with stamina. Sorry, I should have mentioned that part. Because of this, Ubisoft has had a massive hit. I would say it's to its fan loyalty, but at this point, I don't know if they have any. It seems like they're just heading in the same direction that they were always going to. Something has to change with their franchises, whether it's Assassin's Creed or something original, because this is their first original IP for a long, long time, and it's not going to encourage them to do more, which is a shame because they do have great ideas. They just don't know how to follow up on them.
But it's you who found the